How's it going, everybody? I'm Steve, and welcome back. So, a lot of you may know about 3 months ago, I did a video about Alfred Hitchcock, and I talked about the box set that I bought, the Ultimate Collection. I bought this on the off of Amazon. It was like $40 used, and you can buy this brand new. It's like $70 on there, but it has like 15 films. It has like 7 episodes from the TV series. He had like a half an hour series that was on for several years, and that's really great. And he also has like 3 episodes that were from his like hour-long TV specials, I guess he had, or TV series. So, and this, he did like almost 60 films during his career, which is amazing. He was constantly working. He died at age 80. He was working all the way up until the age of 76. But I highly recommend it if you want to just to kind of do like a deep dive into his filmography. This was definitely the way to do it because you get so many great films. It has like some of his greatest hits in this movie. Some of his most popular films are in this box set. So I decided I was going to do like rank these do like 15 titles and rank them, and a lot of these I really don't think any of these were bad. Some of these I liked a little bit less than others, but a lot of them had like really great casts. So at number 15 for 1966, I have the movie Torn Curtain. This one's starring it has Paul Newman and Julie Andrews in it. You'd think I would have this ranked a little bit higher. I like this movie a lot. To me, the story wasn't quite as good as some of the others, and this is like his kind of a late 60s, early 70s period was definitely he'd been kind of in a decline at that time, but still I'm a huge Paul Newman fan, so I was really happy that he got in there at number 15, and like I said, none of these are bad. I thought it was, out of the ones I had seen, it was probably one of my least favorite though. Okay, so at number 14 for 1955, I have The Trouble with Harry. This movie, I liked it quite a bit. It has like the most humor of all these 15 films. This one's really slapsticky. I don't think Hitchcock did like a ton of like comedies in his career, but this one had John Forsythe. If you know from Charlie's Angels, he's the voice of Charlie from Charlie's Angels. It had Shirley MacLaine. Had a British actor named Edmund Gwenn. I thought he was really great. I think he died like maybe 4 or 5 years later, possibly. And actually, I was really surprised it has Jerry Mathers. Have you ever watched Leave It to Beaver? I couldn't believe he was in this. This is before Beaver. This is a couple years before that. So he was really young in the movie. To me, it's just really silly kind of storyline, but I thought it was a lot of fun. But it's just kind of ridiculous in a lot of ways. All right, so at number 13 for 1969, I had Topaz. This is the only actor I really knew from this was John Forsythe. He's plays an American in the movie, and I think a lot of it takes place overseas, like in France or someplace. And it's hard to remember. A lot of these kind of blend together in some ways, but this movie, I like the storyline overall, and I like the cast. But like I said, it would have been nice if I had kind of recognized more of the actors in the film. All right, so at number 12 for 1972, I had the movie Frenzy. This movie is, I like this a lot. This is Hitchcock returning to England for some reason. Obviously he's a British director, and he had made a lot of movies in America for years, but decided to go to England for some reason to make this. And it had an actor named John Finch and Alec McCowan. And to me, this is kind of a return to sort of like a horror film in a lot of ways, or very scary in a lot of ways, and kind of interesting. It's kind of reminds me maybe sort of like Peeping Tom in a lot of ways, in some ways anyway. But to me, this is kind of like a comeback film for Hitchcock after making a couple movies that weren't really strong. This is kind of a return to that. So I was happy to see that, especially that late in his career to make something like this. I think is he should be commended for that. Okay, so at number 11 for 1976, this is actually his last film. It's called Family Plot. I like this movie a lot. It has this is an all-American cast. It has Karen Black's in this movie. It has Bruce Dern, Barbara Harris, has William Devane. I couldn't believe it. I looked him up on Wiki, and he's like 90. He's like 93 or something like that, and he's still alive. I think he's the only member in this primary cast is actually still alive. So amazing that I think he was great villain in this movie. Very interesting story. Actually, John Williams did the film score for this. I think it's the only one he ever did with Hitchcock, and so I thought it was great. To me, this is the way to go out. It's just something good, something fun. Okay, so at number 10 for 1964, I have the movie Marnie. This movie is really interesting. The storyline in this is very, very topical. Definitely in this era of we recognize mental health and that kind of thing, and just childhood trauma. I love this cast. So Tippi Hedren has Sean Connery's in it. I'm a huge James Bond fan, so this had to make my top 10. Diane Baker as Martin Gabriel. Very interesting. I think Bruce Dern makes a kind of a cameo in this movie. Okay, so at number 9 for 1943, I have Shadow of a Doubt. This movie is definitely early Hitchcock. It has Teresa Wright, Joseph Cotton. I like this movie a lot. Those early films from him were really great. A lot of them were in like black and white. The early period there, but this actually wasn't really his peak necessarily yet, but he was definitely showing some of his potential to make some really great films. All right, so at number 8, I wish I could rank this one a little bit higher because I really loved it. It's from 1942, and the movie is Saboteur. This is a black and white film, very interesting. Priscilla Lane, Robert Cummings, Norman Lloyd. If you know what's seen elsewhere, or he's an American actor, but he has like this British accent, and he worked a lot with Hitchcock later on. He plays like the villain in this movie, but if you saw him in this movie, you wouldn't recognize him like what he looked like then. I think he may still be alive. I think, I believe. All right, so at number 7 for 1948, I have the movie Rope. This movie is starring James Stewart, also known as Jimmy Stewart. He's really great in this movie. The story all takes place in one location in an apartment. You can see like the background in this movie is really weird because it hardly ever changes. So this is definitely one of those early kind of studio films. Some of the you can see some of the background changes periodically, and then obviously it goes from light to dark, and after the day, as it gets more into the evening. But it's really interesting, really a surreal kind of story. Not maybe in some ways kind of horror driven in a lot of ways. Just a really weird story for 1948. It's definitely really dark for that time period, and it's a great storytelling, and it's one to definitely check out. All right, so number 6 for 1956, I have the movie The Man Who Knew Too Much. This movie is, I think it's like a remake of another Hitchcock movie of the same title. I've never seen that other title. It's actually on the Criterion Collection, so I'd had to actually watch it to actually see how it compares. I think there is kind of similarities to the story, but this one's really great. It has James Stewart again, has Doris Day. I couldn't believe that Doris Day. I think she was like a kind of a singer that did. I looked at her filmography. She didn't do a lot of movies, but she was kind of known as a singer at the time. Okay, so at number 5 for 1963, I have the movie The Birds. This is definitely more of a horror film in a lot of ways. Very scary. There's some stuff in this movie that's definitely very shocking. This movie, obviously, it's in my top 5 because it's one of the best known Hitchcock movies. It has Rod Taylor, Jessica Tandy, as Tippi Hedren's in the movie. I enjoyed this movie a lot. It's like I said, there are definitely some shocking scenes in this film. All right, so at number 4 from 1958, I have the movie Vertigo. A very interesting movie too. Like I said, this top 5 are all the hit films from him. Very well known. Absolutely, James Stewart's back in this movie. Kim Novak's really great in this movie. I think she may actually still be alive as well. I love the story of Barbara Bel Geddes. I just recently watched one of the TV like 30-minute episodes from his TV series, and she was in that as well. I enjoy this quite a bit. The way it kind of goes, it's great storytelling. You never guess really the ending to the movie until you see it, and so I enjoy this one quite a bit. Okay, so at number 3 for 1959, I have the movie North by Northwest. Love this movie. To me, number 3 and number 2, you can kind of interchange those two films. Starring Cary Grant. He's so great in this movie. Eva Marie Saint, I believe she's still alive as well. So people that worked with the Hitchcock definitely have lived long lives and got to work with the master. James Mason's in the movie too. Jesse Royce Landis. I enjoy this quite a bit. It has definitely different locations in the movie. It goes all over the world. It's just great visuals. It's in color. For late 50s to have a movie in color wasn't extremely normal. A lot of movies were black and white at that time, but love this story. Love the way it ends up. It's a very suspenseful, great story. Okay, so number 2 for 1954, I have the movie Rear Window. This was a great story. A lot of it takes place at the same location, basically in like an apartment complex kind of thing. This movie starring James Stewart again. Grace Kelly's in this movie, really great. Raymond Burr's in this movie. I couldn't believe that. I love the story. It goes different places. Yeah, I love the suspension in the movie. That James Stewart's really great in the movie. So this one I had to put at number 2, but it could have been number 3. Like I said, 3 and 2 can kind of be interchangeable, but this one's really great. Okay, so number 1, of course I had to make this number 1 for 1960. The movie is Psycho. This movie's so great; it changed cinema forever. It changed horror forever. You know, and this spooky season in October is definitely one that you should definitely check out. I'm sure everyone's seen this movie. It's been spoiled forever. Obviously, starring Anthony Perkins, really great in this movie. Janet Leigh's in it. She's obviously the mother of Jamie Lee Curtis, and just the story is unpredictable. Nobody had ever seen that before with a star like that in a movie, and it was really unpredictable and just like where does this go from here? That kind of that way you think, but as you're watching the movie, and obviously. To me, it's very suspenseful. The shower scene in this movie has been parodied so many times and spoofed, and it's very scary. Some people have definitely, like my mom, they grew up watching this, and at that time she was like 7 years old in 1960, and it's scared her ever since. It's a movie she still gets scared when she talks about it. So, okay, so everybody, I really appreciate watching this video tonight. Definitely, please put a thumbs up on this video. If you're not already subscribed to my channel, please do that. And everybody have a great one.